Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Reporting Basics. A big welcome to those of you today who are new to Calxa. My name's Simon. I'll be hosting the Reporting Basics webinar for today. Today, we will be demonstrating and introducing you to some of the Calxa reporting tools that will help you save time and give you some great flexibility to analyze your particular organization. Now, this session is one of a series of 4 that we run each week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The other 3 sessions are budgeting basics, cash flow basics, and dashboard basics. And just a reminder, these webinars are interactive, so please use the Q&A box or the web chat box, and I will get to your questions during the session. Let's have a look at our agenda for today. Here we go. So we're going to be having a look at the report builder, and within that, we're going to have a look at the templates. These are the format of the reports that are available for you. We'll have a look at how you can select dates and use a very easy date-driven system to be able to get exactly the reports that you're after. How we can report down at business unit level for those of you on Xero, that's a tracking category. If you're on MyOb, that'll be jobs. We call them business units in Calxa, and we'll have a look at how we can publish the reports and retain copies of those reports. We're also going to have a look at what we call report bundles, and a bundle is simply a group of reports. We're going to have a look at how we can build those bundle kits and how we can run that bundle and how we can very easily change the details on an entire bundle. We're then going to have a look at how we can make life much easier for you through a synchronization process or an automation process, and how you can very easily send out groups of reports out without having to do too much effort yourself once you've set those up. Let's have a look at Calxa now. Okay, so what you're seeing at the moment, of course, is a dashboard. Those dashboards come out of the box. I've actually this is one of the ones I've actually created for myself. I've got a couple of changes on that. You can do these for yourself. And this is the subject of a latter webinar. So please jump into that one if you are looking at creating your own dashboards down the track. We are talking about reporting, of course, today. So let's jump over to reports there at the top. And you can see we've got a number of headers across the orange bar here. If I just quickly jump over into bundles, what you'll see here at the top here is a report month. I've set that to March 25 at the moment, since it's April. So my active month is March. That's where I'm doing my reporting at this point in time. This is really important for you because most of what you can do is simply set some things up and then change this date up here, and you'll get the information that you're after. But let's shift over to the builder. This is where all of our reports are. Now, what you're seeing here is a bunch of templates, and there are reportedly somewhere between 180 and 200 templates. I've been told. I did try and count them one day. I didn't quite get to the end, so it was too many trees in the forest for me. But there are a lot of templates in here, and they're organized out for you so you can find what you're after very easily. Let's have a look down the left-hand side here at the groupings of templates. This is, of course, all templates here. I can have my recently used. Now, I've got my favorites as well. So just notice this little star here where it's been blackened by simply clicking on it. That will pop this over into my favorites. So if you do find reports that you want to use fairly often, please click on the little star, pop them into your favorites, and you can get to them and find them much more easily. We can customize reports. So I do have a group of customized templates in here as well. However, you can then browse by profit and loss type reports, balance sheet reports, cash flow reports. There are a group of charts in here as well. Transactional reports, so you can look up transactions by account, and we do have 2 new reports in here for accounts receivable and payable as well. Also, we have groups of reports where you can report specifically on business units, and you can get business units in rows or in columns. The same with your organizations. If you're consolidating up reports, you can look at those as well, and so forth down here. So please look through the groupings of reports that we might have here to try and find the report that you're after. Across the top section here, we can search as well. So if we're looking for any report data or specifically actuals and budget and so forth, any report period, financial year, etc., or by recommended. I normally leave it on that. But you can type up here if you happen to be looking for a report on, say, KPIs, and we can type in here, and we've got a business unit KPI report. If I'm happen to be on all templates, of course, I'll find many more reports available that have something to do with KPIs. So type in the search bar, and that will help you find the type of report that you happen to be after. If you want to have a look at a template and have a bit of a look at what a template might look like, we can click on the little eyeball here, the preview button, and that will give you an idea of what that report is going to look like. So you can see here, in this case, it's a pretty standard actual versus budget. I've got the month actual budget variance and the year-to-date actual budget variance as well. And if I pop on this one here, we can see here again, I've got 12 months worth of data, projected total, actuals up to a month, and a forecast running from there. So we can search through the listing down here, try and find the type of report that we're after. We can also search up through the top bar, help us find what we happen to be after, and we can look at the preview button to see if that's something around what we happen to be looking for. Let's have a look at a report once we set it up, once we've chosen it. And let's have a look at this particular report, a P&L with projected total, multi-period report. It's automatically popping up for me. I just want to change a couple of little settings on this so we can see what things normally look like. Most of your reports will pop up with previous settings in there, which is what mine did. And through here, what we're going to do on this left-hand side is have a look at the configuration. So we're going to set this report up through all of these settings down on the left-hand side to give us exactly the report that we specifically are after. In this case, you can see here at the top level, I've picked my organization. I have a lot of organizations in my work group here. I happen to be working on the Melbourne AUDO organization, and I also have some organizational groups. So for some of you, please jump into some of the other sessions to have a look at better at what they might be if you are looking at consolidation type reports or group reports and so forth. I have in here also, I have a selection for business units. At the moment, it's set to organizations. However, I could pick, here's my business units down here, my tracking categories, my jobs. I can pick any one of these if I choose to and report on that, or I could choose all my active projects. What that will do is give me a report with my total and a report for every one of these business units at the same time. So there's a number of different ways in which you can choose how to report that. I'm going to leave it on organization for the sake of it. Your budget version, please join us tomorrow for budgeting basics, and you'll learn more about the selections through here. And here, I'm just using what I call my main budget. And this little bit over here is allowing me to choose and add scenarios in there. So please, again, join us for budgeting basics, and we'll teach you more about the various budgets available and scenarios as well. Now, this is important here, the account tree. The account tree is the structure of all of these rows down this particular side here. And you can see under here, I've got my income and I've got all my accounts for income. I've got a little calculation in here called gross profit. And that calculates out simply my income minus my cost of sales. And I have all my expenses and a big list of expenses down here until I get down to my operating profit. This is on the original account tree, so it's completely flat structure. It doesn't have any other headers in it apart from this level 1 header, which is income, cost of sales, etc. I'm going to change over here now. I'm going to use my board report structure. And this particular report now will come up slightly differently. And you'll see here now I've still got income, but under here I've actually got three headers. Okay. And underneath those, I've got a grouping of accounts. And I'm going to talk to you later about this account tree and therefore what you can do within the structure here to give you exactly the format that you happen to be after. Notice also when I get down to my expenses, of course, I've got a header for admin expenses, marketing expenses, office expenses, and so forth. So you can create exactly the structure that you're after for your reports anytime that you like. And you can have multiple structures, so you can have different reports reporting in different ways if you choose. Let's have a report. Or while we do, but just before we jump onto periods, I wanted to just jump down here into the filters here. You'll notice that we're set to level 7. So I've got income as level 1. This header is called level 2, and these accounts straight underneath are level 3. We can have several levels of headers if we choose to do that. But if I change this to level 2, what's going to happen to this report suddenly is instead of seeing all of those detail, I'm just going to see the level 2 headers in here, and now I've got a much more summarized report that you can see in here, much more condensed and much easier to read, suitable in this case for the board that I want to be reporting this particular report to. Let's jump back to the reporting periods here. You can see here I've said please start this financial year. So it starts in July, that's the beginning of my year, and it goes for 12 months. Now I can choose down here 24 months, 4 quarters, 8 quarters, out to 10 years if I wanted to do that. These, of course, are yearly. And you can see here at the moment, because I'm reporting 12 months, sorry about that. Because I'm reporting 12 months, of course, it scrolls across to give me 12 months worth of information right down to a projected total. And because I've picked March up here, I'm getting my actuals all the way out to the month that I've chosen. And then I'll get my forecast based on the budget that I've chosen out here. So on this particular report. That's the preset template here. Of course, I could pick another period of time. Let's have a quick look at this dynamic configuration. This will allow some changes for us here. So when I do that at the moment, I can see I've picked monthly and I can pick quarterly and yearly. I've picked a number of periods as relative. So in other words, at this stage, it's reporting up to the month that I have chosen. You can see now the report is slightly different because it's reported my actuals only up to my current month and then given me the total for that. I could, of course, change this report and keep going out to, let's take it out to June 26. So when I do that, I'm now going to get my actuals up to March, and then I'm going to get a forecast all the way out to the month that I've chosen, which is June 26. So I can change around the reporting periods as I want to using this dynamic configuration. Let's just drop down a little further. I can choose to report only income or not report income or only expenses, and I can add to this KPIs. Now, 3 have been selected automatically here. You can go through and select any of your KPIs. And when I do that, what's going to happen is I'm going to get some extra information on the bottom. So you can see here additional information, and I get the KPIs that I've selected being reported in here as well. I do have people that have gone through and they've used this report, turned off all of these items here, and simply had a report that shows them their 12 KPIs that happen to be reporting on. So you can do various different things, different ways for yourself. We can report on variances in certain ways, and we can show the account number or not show the account number, show 0 lines. And I am going to talk about this later, this report style here. The report style will dictate what's going to look like at the top here, the colors that we have in here, and you can in fact put your logo on there as well. I'm going to drop this back to the preset template. Once we've done all the work here to set this up and we happen to get the report we like, we can of course go through, we can expand that out if we want to look at it that way. I can jump on here and expand the view out here as well. I can I can send it off to the printer. I can turn it into a PDF and Excel and various other formats as well if I want to do that as well. But main thing is here is the thing you don't want to be doing is jumping in here every single month and having to reset up all of your reports every time you want to do a bunch of reports for people, and then sending out these reports to a PDF, saving them somewhere, and then having to send out a group of reports out to your various managers. We're going to make your life easier there through the use of these things we call bundles. So when I've configured up this report the way I want, and therefore all I need to do is change this month to get that report, I'm going to go and save that configuration. And when I click on save here, it's going to say, please send this report to a bundle. I have a whole group of bundles here, which we're going to look at soon. When you do that, that configuration is saved. So all you need to do is go back to that bundle and have a look for that report, and you can change the month and get the report you want. Let's jump over to bundles and have a look. So I've got a stack of groups for bundles, and that's a new group, and I've got a number of bundles within there. Now, a bundle is simply a set of reports. So this one bundle here called management report, you can see here, I've got a whole stack of reports in here that I've pre-configured. And all I need to do, of course, is change this month, and I'm going to get all the reports that I want. I've got 9 reports. I've actually got some extra things in this report as well. If you want to create a bundle, let's go through and have a look at that. When I want create a new bundle, it's going to come up here, and I can say, I want to create a blank bundle and then start from scratch and put the reports in that I like. But we also have some pre-configured bundles in here as well. So if you are looking, for instance, for a 3-way forecast, that happens to be this bundle here, then we've got a bunch of reports in there that might be suitable for you for a 3-way forecast. Not-for-profit board reports, small business management reports, accountants reports, and some special reports for the ATO. So if you're looking for a starting point for some of your bundles, you can jump in here and have a look at these as a starting point, or in fact start your own bundle from scratch. I'm going to have a look at this particular management report bundle because I've added some extra things into here. Some things I can do here, I can name the bundle anything I like. If I go to actions, I can edit the information. If I go and publish this bundle, and this is really important, if I publish that bundle, it's going to print that bundle for me into Calxa and save it as a published report. And you can see here under here, I've got this heading called published. If I go into here, I've actually published that board report. I did this back in April, so it gives me a time and a day that I did it and which set of reports it was for. And I can come back to that anytime I like and say, these are the sets of reports that I produced for that particular month. Let's jump back to that bundle and have a look at it also, because there's some extra things that I've put in here other than just a bunch of reports. I've gone through and added a dashboard. So any of those dashboards we saw earlier on, you can pop in here. That item there happens to be a dashboard. I can add a document. That's just a plain document, just like a Word document. This one here happens to be one of those documents. And if I edit that document to have a look at it, what I've done is I've popped on my Calxa logo. I've called it Management Reports 4, and I'm dynamically inserting the month and the table of contents. So that's a very easy thing to do there as well. You can also add a PDF. So the general manager's written a report for the board. You've turned it into a PDF. You can pop that in as well. Just go and find it and pop it in here also. At any point in time on any of these reports, we can either run in the report individually, or we could go back and configure that report. So if I wanted to go and have a look at that report and say, all right, thank you very much, I want to change the configuration on that report slightly, I can go through here and make a slight change to that report and then save it again. It'll pop it back in the bundle with that new configuration. Okay, other things that I could do if I wanted to, for instance, copy the entire report, I can copy the entire bundle. And you might say, why would I want to copy the bundle? I've already got it there. Well, for instance, let's say you produced a bundle for manager A, and he or she's looking after a particular division, and you've set up the bundle of reports for that person. You might want to produce exactly the same reports for manager B, who is looking after a different division. And all we want to do is say, you're going to get the same reports, but they're going to be for different divisions. So what I can do is copy that bundle, and then I could select all the reports within the bundle and say, I'm going to bulk change all of those at the same time and say, instead of having a particular business unit, I could pick a different business unit and simply say, well, manager A is looking after this business unit. And I've copied the bundle and changing all of those reports over to a different business unit. And there I've got a whole new bundle for the next manager that's in the same format. So you can bulk edit and update all those reports in there at the same time. Let's have a look if I go and run that bundle. What happens? So I've selected my month and I go and run this bundle. Let's have a look at what happens in this bundle now. So it's just a group of reports. I'm going to run those, and you'll see the very first report that I've got in here has got my title page. I've got my logo. I've inserted the month dynamically. My very next report happens to be a dashboard, one of the dashboards that we have off the shelf there. I've then got a cash flow chart, and I've included at the front of that, I've actually popped in a logo in there. And this is the report, something like the one we saw before. This one's got the original budget in it and the variance between the projected total and the original budget. And down when I get to here, this is what I was talking about the report formats, the report styles, because you can come in here and set up your own style, which is what I've done on this report. I've added my logo. You can pop it there or over this side, and you can change the colors to something that suits you and what you want. So many people do that in their corporate colors, and then send them out from there to see all their reports with their logo and their corporate colors. So there's various other reports, and of course, in that bundle. What I could do from there, of course, is the same as I did with any report. I can print it, I can send it to PDF, I can send it to Excel, etc. from there. So great way to produce your reports. Go through to the builder, select the reports you want, save them into a bundle, and then you can run that bundle anytime you like to get that group of reports without having to reconfigure all of those reports every single month. All you need to do is change this month up the top here. And we had a look, of course, you can publish those reports and save them somewhere. Let's have a look at a couple of other features here. Because we did have a look at, for instance, the account trees. Remember, that was the reporting style, all the rows that we saw down the side, and we defined that by setting up this account tree. I've got lots of trees in here for lots of different groups, and I only wanted, of course, for my Melbourne organisation. When you set up a tree, what will happen is you'll get all of your accounts down this side here. I've got very few left here because I've mapped them all over to the other side. And what we do over here is we pop in here our headers, and then we pop in underneath the headers the various accounts. And it's as simple as picking up an account and dragging it over to here, or picking a group of accounts and say, move to the tree and tell it where in the tree you want to put that. But this is the structure that we want to create, and I can add into that structure anytime I like a header. I'm going to add a header here. I'm going to pop it under my income. I'm going to give it a location to put it, which will be at the end, and I'll call it test. And here we go. You can see here, here's the new header called test. And if I want to pop that account into it, I can simply drag it into there. And now I've got one account under there. So I've changed my structure that way. This item here is a calculation. So you can see up here, I can add calculations and I can add KPIs and metrics. Metrics are non-financial pieces of information. Please join us again for budgeting basics. We can talk a little bit more about that. But this particular calculation for gross profit. We saw it in the report. It's a simple calculation that says, please take the header called income and take away from it the header called cost of sales, and that's equal to my gross profit. I've also got in here a KPI, which is my gross profit margin that I've added in there. We do have a bunch of KPIs that are already pre-calculated for you, or you can add your own KPIs as well if you choose to do that. I'm not going to save the changes for that particular change that I made there with that, but that's how you can set up your own account trees. Importantly, you can put any item anywhere you like in this tree. So I do, and if you join me for Cash Flow Basics, you'll see that I have in fact put some asset and liability accounts or balance sheet accounts up under income for the purpose of displaying my cash flow. And that's simply because I have some special requirements and I want to be showing those items there. So you can show any items you like anywhere in the tree that makes sense for your particular reporting purpose. We did have a look a little bit at business units. You can create, of course, business units trees and then go reporting on those. So if you have a particular requirement to report on a business set of business units, and there are some reports there that allow you to report, for instance, these business units as either rows or columns. I've done exactly the same thing. I've added headers into this, and that allows me to see the total of these 2 business units there, the total of these 3 business units, and the total of those 4 business units here in a particular reporting style that I happen to want. Next item I want to talk about, of course, is this report style. We've got the Calxa original style, but I have created this webinar style. And if you saw, I had these colors were slightly different in here. So I've chosen these particular colors out of the palette, and they're the ones that I wanted to use. And I've also gone and customized the report header. And you can also go through, if I jump over to this one here, you'll see when you create a new style, it'll look something like this. And I can go and add my logo by simply browsing through my save logos and perhaps adding that into the report. And that'll pop your logo into a suitable spot within your report header. So please, by all means there, jump in and create your own styles for your reports, giving yourself your corporate colors and your logo and so forth as well. Okay, let's have a very quick recap because we are running out of time. We had a look at the builder and how we can search through all the listings here and find exactly the report that we're after. We saw how we can preview those reports and then how we can select the report, set that report up and do the configuration for the report, and then save it into a bundle. Bundle being, of course, a group of reports, and we can save those and run those anytime we want based on the month that we select up there. We saw how we can publish those reports and how we can choose and set up those reports using our account trees and our to get exactly the report styles that we happen to be looking for. One more item, really important item, just to save you even more time. You've set up your set of reports for your board, let's say, and we can now go through and do what we call a workflow. I've got a workflow here that's called my just for Melbourne, and I'm going to have a look at this action. You can add a stack of actions in here, but this particular action says, please generate a report bundle, that particular report bundle based on last month, which would be March, and send it to a group of email accounts. So that might be your board, it might be a manager or a group of managers. I can send it as a PDF or an Excel file. And then anytime I click on run now, it's going to do, well, that action, but if you had several actions, you could do that. So if you had several bundles set up for various different managers, you could put in several actions and send all of your reports out to all of those managers at the same time without you even having to come in and do anything more than come in and say run now, and it will do that. You can also schedule those workflows to run anytime you like. I do have some people that put dashboard and a dashboard only into their report bundle, and they send that bundle out that that view of the dashboard out every week to their various managers so they can see where they happen to be up to. Okay, so we've had a look at our builder, we've had a look at various bundles, how we can publish those, and how we can set up the reports exactly the way we're after. So that's a very quick view of reporting basics. Let me just jump back into here and we'll just check that we have covered everything for you. We had a look at the builder, we had a look at 180 plus templates, the selection of dates, how we can select our business units and publish our reports, how we can build our own kits of reports that are pre-configured, and how we can easily run the bundle and do whatever we like with it. And we also had a look at how you could bulk change a bundle as well. How, in fact, we can then automate those reports to either run at a very specific time or just click on the button and go send those reports to the people what we wanted. Thank you very much. That's reporting basics, but please do remember tomorrow, Wednesday, we do have budgeting basics, cash flow basics on Thursday, and dashboard basics on Thursday also. If you need help, please get to help me at Calxa, and we can get back to you and answer your questions. Or if I jump back into Calxa here, please click on the button down the side here. You can go to chat with us, type in your message down here. One of us is waiting at the other end for your message and we will answer you very rapidly. Or you can jump into help and look for the article that you happen to be looking for. If you want to know about KPIs in here, type that in, and here's several articles about KPIs. Most of those do have embedded videos in them, so you can utilize those to help you process your way through Calxa. Well, thank you everybody for joining me for Reporting Basics. I hope you got something out of that, and we'll catch you again for hopefully tomorrow. We'll see you for budgeting basics and later in the week for cash flow and dashboard basics. Thank you again, and bye for now.